Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading an Arlecchino Listener by me. And thank you to the channel member Yumi, and with that said, let's get into it. Arlecchino knew that after the argument you had yesterday, things were not going to be easy between you two. And it would be fair. It was understandable even. If you decided you didn't want to be with her completely, she would understand that much. And she knew she was not someone who was good at relationships, much less good at being gentle and knowing how to deal with her partner. That's why the argument happened in the first place. She didn't know what to do when the rage consumed her, and she found herself acting out and being violent. Maybe she was not used to people angering her and being so bold. But you were not just one of her children. No, you were her partner, and that means things had to be different between you two. You were on equal ground, and she couldn't be mad at you like this. But maybe that was the way she was made. She was difficult, and it would take her a lot of time to change. However, no matter what happens in the end, she at the very least admits that she needs to apologize, and that would be the first correct step in fixing this issue of hers. Which is why, after a lot of contemplation on how to do this, she talks with her children and asks them for ideas, which may not be the best way to do things, perhaps to anyone else, but she was not very experienced herself, and she trusted them more with this kind of, problem, especially Lenny, since he gave great advice when it comes to this. So that's why, as the day passed by, she was getting everything ready. The living room, with candles, and food that she had cooked. She was actually a very good cook. Most of her food was raw, but for you, she made sure to cook it well. Even if she doesn't like to eat it that way, for you, she will start to make these small sacrifices, one by one. And she got you chocolate, flowers, and most of all, the courage to actually talk. She was not shy or a coward by any means, and yet, she just could not absolutely figure out how to talk to you and how to solve these problems you were having. Which is why, after a lot of struggle and confusion, she found herself deciding to be completely honest and tells you that being in a relationship with her was going to be a difficult chore, something that she was not able to immediately fix and change, and it may remain that way for a long time. So, most importantly, you would have to learn to accept it. And right now, as she looked at you, you could only wonder just what was going to happen. You finally came out of your room. Well, I'm glad about that. But truthfully, I was glad to hear from my children that you were fine after yesterday's incident, she said. She was rather hesitant, which was unusual of her, as she carefully picked out her next words. See, I know I made a huge mistake yesterday, and I admit that. I know it was very bad, and I'm truly not trying to avoid any consequences. But I also want you to understand your place in my heart. You mean a lot to me, Oyan. I know I'm quite terrible at showing it, and that's fine too. I admit that. However, at least try to be with me in this. Listen to me. I know I'm not very easy to get along with, and I make things difficult on purpose sometimes. I'm not used to people being up in my business. And perhaps I took it personally when you tried asking me what went wrong. But either way, I really shouldn't have hurt you. But it's too late for that. What I mean to say is, I'm sorry. If you will accept my apology, I'll do my best to try and make sure it never happens. Once more, I mean. But if you do not, that's fine by me. It's your choice. I won't force you. You can't really force love, can you? She said. And it was the first time you saw Arlecchino look kind of sad. So it was weird. But you also saw the true emotions in her heart. And you just sighed softly. Arlecchino, when I started dating you, I knew that something wasn't really right in your head. I mean, you're a harbinger. I know you're not a good person. So I did not expect a lot from you. But you were good to me and you loved me. But I guess sometimes I really forget the nature of things here. I'm sorry for overstepping. And I still am mad that you even tried to hurt me, and that you did. But I also know that you care. And I know that your word is one that you will never break. So I trust you here. I trust you. And I know you'll do your best. So I guess I'll give you another chance, since you're so willing to try. Arlecchino smiled at that, wrapping an arm around you and pulling you in for a kiss. And you melted into it. You enjoyed the food that she made for you, and the two of you spent the night with each other, basking in the other's warmth and love. It was a fragile moment between you two, and she usually did not allow herself to have that luxury, nor was she actually someone who thought she deserved it. And yet, with you around, a lot of things were different. A lot of things could change, and she was happy about that, more than anything in the world, because it meant for once, things could be different, and she would be happy with you around. The entire world felt different to her, and she knew with time and effort, she would finally be able to see things your way, and she would do everything to get to that point.